good. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair to all of you for being here on time, on a weekday, and subhanallah, ready to learn and to invest some time, some thoughts, some awareness into some very important topics. I thank the Atlanta, the community here, the Jaffari Center of Atlanta, for making these workshops possible. And I also thank all of you for not only being here, but also for giving your positive feedback that has made others come and others tune in. And mashallah, those of you who are listening from the car or from home, from anywhere in the world, thank you so much for tuning in. Because when we see that you are tuned in, it makes us realize that these kind of workshops, even if people can't be here in person, they're being appreciated from anywhere in the world. That's the amazing thing about the internet now, isn't it? This era is fantastic, that people from anywhere can access wonderful things. And we're trying to extend it so that we could maybe do a few more workshops. So please do continue to give us your positive feedback if that's something you'd like, and if that's something you could attend, whether it's during the Ashra or even a day or two after, because I am here for a day or two more after my last majlis on the 12th. So today's topic is about changing our houses into homes, and how true it is that any place, whether it's even a huge hall like this, when you come here and there's no one here, it feels like an empty hall. But as soon as the azadar come and they start reciting and they start doing matam and they start doing the nare haidri and the salawats, you feel like this is an azakana. It's become a majlis Hussein. The empty hall became a mosque. Similarly, I mean, we noticed this in the pandemic when we had to sometimes go to the halls instead of using our own mosque or whatever. Any place can be changed into a home if you make it homely. But often we have these massive homes, but there is no love inside. And then we often have these tiny little homes with nothing. No furniture, nothing. And yet there's so much love. So the moral of the story is, it is the people in the home that can make it a home. That a house has the potential to become a place of peace and a fortress from the world. Unfortunately, we give each other so much trouble that often our home can become a place of misery and torture if we're not careful. This place that's supposed to be a place of, refuge and love and peace and comfort. It's supposed to be our comfort zone. But we're obviously sometimes not doing something right, that home feels like a cage. It can feel like the worst place. People want to escape their home. We saw this in the pandemic when people were forced to stay at home and they hated it. And that couples divorced because they couldn't stand each other and they had to now live with each other more. But that shows us that we're not adjusted, and avoiding our problems and closing the room, locking it and saying, this is the way I can survive in this house by not spending time with my parents or with my kids or with my spouse, is going to be maybe a Band-Aid solution. But often, even when you put a Band-Aid, it's still bleeding right through it, right? So Band-Aids don't work either. Sometimes we do need to clean the wound, open it, maybe give it a few stitches, and then it'll heal. And so our homes, if they are becoming a source of displeasure, and all this money we spent to buy the best house, but the people in the house are not happy, then we have to work on it. But we are all part of the problem. We're all living in that house. We look to our parents to fix it. We look to our kids to fix it, our grandparents, our in-laws. Someone should fix this problem. But it won't get fixed unless all of us take the tools in our hand. Sometimes building that house brick by brick, or even repairing it together. Sometimes it requires a person to say, there's a leak here. We need to get the plumber. Right? So one person saying, we need counseling, guys. We need it. But what's sad is everyone's here. Okay, let's call the plumber. The person who has to pay the plumber says, I'm not coming to help the plumber. So now everyone's waiting for this leak to get fixed. But one person is not with the program. If one person says there's a problem, everyone has to say, all right, I want to be part of the solution, because we are all part of a jigsaw puzzle. We want to be that person that adds that and say, because you came, now we are one happy family. Now we can all work together. So inshallah, these strategies there's so many, and there's so much I want to share. Inshallah, we will get time, maybe if we do this again, or we do it maybe on Thursday, Friday, or maybe Saturday, whatever it is, we're going to talk to each other, and please do let the people in charge know what you would like to see. We're going to think about here, as we look at these strategies, and say, where do I fit into this? And some of us, mashallah, are so perceptive. We ask often, we say, am I the one in this house that does that? So I want you all to pay attention, and I want you to look at these slides as if it's about you, not about that person who's not doing things right. It's really easy to blame others. Yeah, this is why you're in a problem, because so-and-so causes problems. But often, some of us are adding to it. So we're going to look for so some of these slides might be for a parent, but actually the child in it is very much part of the solution, and vice versa. By the way, just brought a picture to show that I have a family too, alhamdulillah, and this is an older picture. My son Hassan is now 27, Zainab is 25, married 2 years, and Shireen is 18, starting university. And I brought this to show you that I am also a warrior, and I also have brought up kids, and my kids were 18 months apart, the first two. So they were like twins, and it was really busy home with lots of issues, in the sense that, different people needed different things. Issues don't only mean problems. Some people are gifted in our homes. So, they need our help. And we want to be there for them. In the AV room, I don't know if you noticed, but the TV screen feels a little dark. I don't know if it's possible to brighten it. I don't know if it's possible, but it's not as lovely and bright as the one on the... So yeah, I see that brightening. Thank you. Okay, so in our home are these people, all right? There are parents and there are children, there are in-laws, there's grandparents, people of every age. And what we owe to each other, and yes, please feel free to take pictures of the slides, that when I write parent here, it could be anybody, but this was supposed to be a parenting workshop. No, it's a family workshop. So we have to ask ourselves, am I really in the here and now? Do I even know where I am? Am I just going through the motions? Am I on autopilot? Another thing is, what type of parent or child or grandparent or sister, son, do I want to be? And am I doing it? This requires some reflection and journaling. And that's why if you could take pictures of this, it's something to sit with your family and say, let's all discuss this. This is for us to work with. And asking ourselves, okay, what type do I want to be and what am I really? And what actions are consistent with my goals and what have been working against the very thing I was trying to do? We often say to people, I was trying to help. And they're like, no, you made it worse. So you realize your actions sometimes, even though are well-intentioned, are not helping. So reflecting about it and also thinking about when things went horribly wrong are ways to say, okay, so maybe something I did should not be done again. That didn't work. Or maybe that was the wrong time in life. Maybe now we're all older and wiser. And maybe what didn't work 10 years ago can work now. Charting out those goals, making that bucket list of things, And also asking family members, what do you want from this house? What do you like about this home? What are we both enjoying about this home? The fact that we can all worship together, do fun things together, a place to relax, a place to enjoy, a place to really get all the resources I need. When we look at that, a lot of us have the first five things are almost the same. Like all of us want the same thing from our house. However, all of us are often taking a hammer and beating it, breaking the very things that we need. This mosque, mashallah, for the last, like today is the fourth day, we have been using the mosque every single day since Chandrat, which is so it's been 5 days. If we didn't clean up, if we didn't follow rules, if we didn't pick up after ourselves, this place would be a mess right now, right? But all of us took it upon ourselves that there's something on the floor, let me fix that. So this chair is out of the space. This has happened, let's fix this. We need this, oh, we need a chair over here. So all of us are cognizant and aware of what we want because we want to do smooth and lovely sessions and ease for everyone here. So we have to ask ourselves what kind of parents we are. And I think we can all become even not parenting, but you could also make it a person. Am I an authoritarian person in this house? That means some of us youngsters are also bullies in our home, right? There's some young people who decide what food is going to be cooked today. One person says, I like French fries, and then everyone has to tolerate French fries when it's not what they wanted. We do this in our mosques too, by the way. We say, I like this a certain way. You're the one person who likes it like that. Years ago, I remember I was cooking for a huge mosque. Because we were a smaller community. So I was making, siro or something. And this lady told me, don't put raisins. Mere bacche nahi khate. So I was like, for your kids, we're like making it for 100 people. Right? So we feel a sense of entitlement. I don't like this. I like this style of reciting. I don't like this. So everyone should get with my program. So a lot of us are authoritarian. And we have to ask ourselves, is my way really the only way? And sometimes Allah makes us in charge of a home. He gives us power, and with power comes great responsibility. And if we're going to create an authoritative atmosphere, then this comes to the fathers who are in charge of a home, who are saying, no, it's going to be at this time, this how, this much. No one's spending money, no one's doing this, no one's speaking. I want the kids in the bed. I don't want to see them. So they are creating a comfort zone for themselves. It could be a mother who says, I want everything spick and span. Nothing out of its place. I want everybody ready 2 hours before, right? So we are imposing these difficult standards on people when we got to that point in our lives by turning 40. Expecting an 8-year-old to be as fantastic as we are at age 40 is putting a tall order on that person and creating feelings of guilt and lack of self-worth, helplessness. Imagine if you came home and you just want to crash on the bed, which all of us are doing when we come home from mosque these days, right? Our rooms are these days a mess, or the kitchen is a mess. But we are in charge, so we say, it's my house, I'll clean it. But if someone came and said, get up from that bed right now, this is not the time. First, put away your shoes. Did you do your homework? And you're like, wait, give me 2 seconds. I just came from outside. I'm tired. I'm hot. So a person who's played basketball is also really tired. A person who's been playing with friends. And you know what? Young people, when they're intellectually stimulated or socially stimulated, are also exhausted. Many of us have to be on our best behavior when we're outside. Adults as well as children. And being socially with it can be very exhausting. Like smiling, tolerating, handling people coming into your personal space, laughing, someone teasing you, not getting a joke. All these things, oh, I was supposed to do that. Oh, I was supposed to say that. All these things are hard. When you come home, you just want to relax. But if people are on your case when you get home, whether it's an adult, whether it's a kid, whether it's an in-law, we are ruining that comfort zone for the person. Are we an apologetic parent? This is the era where we say, sorry, honey, but can you pick up your socks from the floor? Really sorry. Please just pick up those socks. We were being apologetic. Sorry, mommy's not feeling really, with it today. We are actually so nice, but you know what we're doing. When a little child whose frontal lobe is not really there yet, they're like, mom's not with it. She's apologizing for it. They don't understand we're being courteous. The parents of today are so kind, so kind. We know because we really go that extra mile to soften our voices, and we are the ones that our kids are saying we are the meanest, most terrible, most selfish, most narcissistic. Hello? We were brought up in a home where we didn't have any choices. Our parents didn't say sorry to us. Our parents never said sorry or please or why. But we grew up and loved our parents regardless. So what's going wrong? We're going that extra mile and our children are still not appreciating us. It really hurts. So if you are that kid who right now realizes your parents say sorry, your parents say please, your parents actually explain, we need to leave at 4 because there's going to be traffic, there's going to be a lot of people, there won't be parking, it gives you 10 items, and you're still like, I'm not going to get ready. Or should I? That person has given you so many reasons. The Holy Quran, mashallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, really takes the time to explain things to us. But there are also commands. If you want to know more, talk to the Ahlul Bayt. You want to look for the tafsir. But first there's a command. And you do it because Allah knows why He's telling you to do a certain thing. Yeah, there are many good reasons, but even if there's no good reason, we do it because Allah knows why He's doing what He is to us. There has to be some respect and faith in our parents that they know what they're doing. Submissive parenting, when we're letting our children bully us. Passive-aggressive parenting. These are the parents who are not saying what the rule is. And then when the kids are doing it, they're like, but you didn't say that wasn't allowed. You were okay about it 10 times. Oh, I was controlling myself. But how do I know you're controlling yourself? I thought you didn't care. It was okay with you. So it creates this passive-aggressive nature in our parenting. Helicopter parenting, that's right now all of us. We're really hovering over our children. And we're creating a lot of extra work for ourselves. A lot of it is good. A lot of it is bad. Because when we do everything for our children, they will never learn. It's so wonderful how Allah has made this natural thing where a baby themselves will try to walk. They'll try to climb stairs. They'll crawl. You're like holding them back. But if they didn't do that, we would have never let them learn how to walk. We would have said, you're going to fall. You're going to mess up. How many of our mothers never let us cook in the kitchen because they'll say you'll burn yourself, you'll cut yourself. And then you see these videos, reels of like 10-year-olds who are chefs in the kitchen and cooking and like, how did this kid know how to cut? My mom often watches Olympics and says these are the kids their parents didn't stop them from jumping on the bed. They were able to do big, huge jumps and stuff. We're like, tortitas, right? They were able to jump, and their parents were like, it's okay. They're gonna learn something. I have a brother-in-law. In those days when computers were new, he would let his little kid touch a, $10,000 computer. Who were like, you don't let a child do this. That child is now a huge animator. He is in graphic artist. He is head of the computer, I don't know, whatever department in the university. He is a professor. So we need to let our children grow. We need to let people grow. And then there's this shift right now, friendship parenting, which has its good and negative points, definitely. Be friendly, but there's no need to be a friend so much that now you're like, let's go out smoke with you. Let's go, like we'll do all these naughty things as long as we're doing it together. No, we are the parent. And that's why the kids need to understand that when a parent says, go pray namaz, well, you're not praying. You're never on time. That's not for us to say. Parents are in the position of authority, whether we like it or not. Allah has given them that position, and so has society, by the way, where the government actually calls us guardians, and we're supposed to guide. We're not supposed to beat, but we are supposed to guide. So many cases of kids in our community will call the cops on their parents. My parents are making me sleep early. They're not letting me go out with my friends. And the cop is saying, you're welcome to leave. Well, I can't. I'm only 10. Then you will have to live with the rules of this house. You look like you're eating well. This is a beautiful house. Young man, you better follow the rules. But we are trying to impose those rules, and our kids are saying, well, you don't do it. That's not your job, to point out the inconsistencies. Definitely parents need to be consistent. We need to practice what we preach. But if we're not, never ever tell your parent, you fix it yourself, then I'll do it. Sometimes parents are trying to make us do what they never did. That parent was never told to pray on time. There's two types of people. One will say, my parents never woke me up for namaz. It's just my parents' fault. The others will say, my parents used to force me to wake up. That's why now I don't pray. So what are we going to do now? You do it and you're in trouble. You don't do it and you're in trouble. Where is Sister Sophia? She's here? She just left the room. Okay. So, yeah, just a little bit of a spreading out there. Or if we can bring them closer, they can look at my screen. Perhaps they're not getting to see what's written on the screen. Because definitely there's so much to be gained here. And everyone should be paying attention, inshallah. So, our job is to make this home a place of peace. And when we're always the person who's disruptive in a class, for example, when one person is not paying attention, for example, one person is creating that disruptive atmosphere, you see what happens. It stops the whole home from functioning. So when we are that one kid in our home who says, I'm not going to, and everyone is good in that house, sometimes we genuinely want to know that why are we doing this, and I don't want to. But you have to realize that you are creating disruption in the home. In classroom, we teachers are taught behavior management. We're taught how to deal with that disruptive student. And we're also told that that one student can take the lion's share of attention. You'll see that one person who is fidgeting or whatever, everyone's looking at them, right? So it creates a problem. Don't be that guy. In your home, I talk to many youth who cry to me and say, I made my parents fight. And there's a tendency to tell them, no, it wasn't you. You're not. They had problems. But there's an ounce of truth where sometimes one of us is being so difficult that one of our parents is being tough and the other is saying, Mukidyo. And in that, the parents are fighting about parenting. You're too easygoing. You're too tough. You didn't remember this. So now parents are fighting. And this doesn't mean we should blame anyone, but it does mean we should take ownership of what we are doing in our homes. Lest one day we are those crying 18-year-olds who say, I made my parents hurt. I made I love the older students. Can you come in the front row? Because you can see the slide and you can benefit from it. The 3 tall guys who just came in. 4, up to the front, guys, please. Just so that you can see my, because you're going to be fathers soon, I think, looking at your height. Khuda na kare. Everyone's like, Rwanta khada. Like, we're getting goosebumps. These people are going to be fathers someday. Yeah. And all of you are going to be mothers. And here we are telling mothers how to behave when one day we're going to be mothers and we're going to be the same problem. We're going to say, Ya Allah, now I remember my mom crying. Now I understand why my mom was saying, you guys are keeping the house messy. I can't do anything because you guys are ruining what I just did. I cleaned this counter and you guys put something on it. Can you see my slides though? If you sit this way, maybe you can. Can you see? Last sentence, what does it say? Good job. All right. So next thing, can we be a good friend to our child? And the hadith on being a friend. A good friend. It's not the age, not the relationship, nothing. Someone who is best is their behavior and their character. So we could be a good friend to our child if we are well versed in our faith and we have exemplary manners. A lot of us had no business being parents, right? We had children who were like, I'm not cut out for this. It didn't come with an instruction manual. Yeah, so we have to be forgiving of our parents because they are also learning on the job. And we have special needs. Doesn't mean we're developmentally slow or anything. We have special needs. Some of us need more love. Some of us need more rules. We need discipline. Some of us need to be left to paint and grow and think. And each child requires a different, and we are Allah, He tests some of us. Some of us are given children with developmental issues. Some are with no money, bankrupt people. Some with one less limb. Some without a mother. Some without a house. Everyone has a different test. And Allah gives to each person according to their needs. And then we say, Ya Allah, why did you test me this way and not this guy? Why did you give him and not me? That other person needs an extra help. Allah is aware of His creatures and knows exactly what each one of them needs. Similarly, parents, when we are holding them accountable, that why are you being nice to my difficult sister? They can't give you a whole essay about it. But you have to trust them, that they know that this difficult person needs more love, more attention. So take a back seat today. And they are throwing a tantrum and creating so much stress. So today, just give them your toy. This is not for us to be bitter for the rest of our lives that my parents always made me give up my toy. We're grown-ups now, inshallah. And we're realizing that our parents were doing their best. They were doing their best, but inshallah, all of us have a lot of work we could do to be better people. So a parent is a role model, and we tend to become like our parents, right? We choose our friends' faith. So this also goes to who we choose as a spouse. If you're going to choose a husband or a wife just because they were gorgeous, and when they become the mother of your child or the father of your child, and they only care about how great they look, you're going to look back and say, it was my fault. I didn't select according to the needs of the future. So a good friend tries to improve us. The Prophet has said that he is my dearest friend who points out my drawbacks and gives me a gift by doing so. So when a parent is a friend, they will say, honey, if you don't study right now, you're going to fail. If you keep friendship with this particular person, you're going on a terrible path. I can see it happening. I've seen it happening. I feel it in my bones. And we're like, no, I know what I'm doing. I can walk on this tightrope. I won't fall. So if we cannot let our best friend guide us, then we're not letting them be a good friend. Nabi Isa alayhi salam was asked, right, what kind of friend should I have? This friend should, just looking at them, remind you of Allah. When they speak, your knowledge increases. When they act, you think of the afterlife. You're thinking, wow, Jannah. So when your parents are talking about Islam all the time, they're being extra, they're actually being the best friend they could be to you. But this is also to the parents who are not being the best Islamic principled role models. So be the person you want your child to be. And for the children here, be the child that you want your future child to be. And practice what you preach. Children close their ears to advice but open their eyes to example. And act like there's a video camera on you. Oh my God. Sometimes, sometimes people film us when we're angry. And they out us. There are so many people who are getting filmed on the internet these days and caught, yelling at somebody from their car window, right? There are people who are doing road rage, and then they're caught, and they turn out to be politicians and big, important people. But they were so rude in real life. If we could just keep the camera on at home, front door camera is already on. The Nest is like checking who's entering and all. But if there are people with cameras in their house, CCTVs, and they're finding out what their maid is doing. But if we kept it on at home, maybe it might allow us to behave ourselves a bit more. So as a friend, we become a learner with our child. We show them our expectations in a practical way. We admit mistakes, but we must be careful how vulnerable we make ourselves. Because being an apologetic parent sometimes can make us very vulnerable to our kids. It's like telling your boss, I have problems at home, so sorry I'm late. Next thing you know, they'll be like, you can't keep up with this job. You have too many personal problems. I think you should change positions or go, just quit. Because they'll use it against you. These are people, children are built to use parents to get what they want. That's how they're wired. They'll cry because they're hungry. So often they do things that would maybe be feeling like manipulative behavior, but it's not really their plan to do so. They're just using what they have for their interests. So if they're using your vulnerability against you, perhaps it's important to see which kid you can be honest with. There's some children who we are very honest with, and we say, I'm suffering. I have a medical issue. I'm on antidepressants. Or, your dad and I are arguing lately. And then this kid goes and tells the other parent, or uses it against your mom, but you have this problem. Dad, you have a learning disability. Dad, you failed in business. It's not to use against that person. They're sharing with you, unlike what their parents did 30, 40, 50 years ago. They told you what their issues were. But it wasn't for you to use it against them, but to understand them. Also as a friend, teach the person the language of love you have. Teach them to apologize, how they should communicate with you, how they should appreciate you. And let's say, I said thank you, but no, I needed it to be said in this particular way. So being a parent, and this is for the young people here to understand also, it means that your parents are on a mission. Time is limited. And there are 2 pilots, and there is a ship, and you are a passenger. And when we let our kids fly the plane, we're going to crash. Because they're not going to fly to get that to the destination. They might take it on a roller coaster ride. So the army has challenges. It needs guidance. But the leader doesn't always reveal their weaknesses. The leader knows what needs to be done. Leader has a strategy, and the leader is organized. A lot of work for our parents to do. It's a tough order. The child of today this is for our parents to understand. They're overstimulated, and now they're used to working on their phone. This is also playing, that's playing. They're also driving and checking their phone and talking to people and thinking about what to do at school, and they're doing 10 million things at the same time. Overstimulated people get exhausted mentally, emotionally, physically. They need a downtime and unplugging time. Sometimes you have to impose unplugging on people. So when your parents say no screen time, sometimes for our benefit. And you'll find when they take us to camp or something and we are forced to relax, we're like, I needed this. Thanks, Mom. Because now my friends can't reach me. My video games can't reach me. I remember there was a kid in the community who was so addicted to his video games. These video games, they if you stop playing them, then you lose your rank. So he couldn't quit. He kept playing. And then finally his parents had to kidnap him and take him away. They had to kidnap him. And he was like, when they took him on a vacation or wherever they took him, he said, I was like, there's a world. He was like, this is already on this episode? I missed 50 episodes of this particular, whatever it was. He was like, oh my God, there are birds in the sky. He was literally open enough to explain that I was so out of it. I had forgotten to cut my nails. My hair had grown too long. My mother was yelling at me, but I was angry because when you're shooting things on the screen all day long, anyone is in your way, you're going to shoot them too, right? So suddenly you feel like, hey, this is not, Call of Duty anymore. I don't have to steal and drive this angry car. And so you can't even, now everyone's in your way. Get out of my way. So it puts us in a different mode. Literally puts us in a different mode. The kids of today are unfortunately over-entitled. Where's the air conditioner? There's no air conditioner in this house? What? We have to walk? But I don't have a car today. Right? There is a bus. I've never taken a bus in my life. We have 5 cars in the driveway. Why can't I be on the insurance? Right? All of us feel that we deserve $1 million because our parents have it. But that's what our parents were told. Don't give them everything. Otherwise, they will not know how to earn or how to appreciate. So sometimes, there was a girl in our community who was really rich, but her mom would not allow her to drive or to have the best things, make her dress down. She'd be so upset, but her mom said, I don't want you to be used to the good things in life because what if you don't have a family, future family that has all that, right? I don't want you to get used to having your own Porsche, even though we can easily give it to you at the age of 16. So over-entitlement is an issue. Overextended. Our kids are, ya Allah, they are in karate class, they are in Kumon, they are in madrasa, they are in Nauha class and this and that and camp and la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. It's not easy. Can you imagine if you take one class, how hard it is? The exam and all that, we're because we're old, they're young, they can handle it. It's harder for them because they don't even know the stuff. At least we can read English. We know mathematical concepts. They're still grasping it in an atmosphere of bullying and in an atmosphere of people laughing at the question they asked in class. In an atmosphere where they missed a class and now everything is missed because they were home because of Ashura or because they were of Ramadan, Muharram Ramadan, they didn't come to school, or because they are dealing with learning difficulties, or there are problems happening at home. Mother-in-law and daughter-in-law are fighting. And then you're putting them through 10 classes? So maybe one term for one thing. We don't have to learn it all in one go. It overextends them and it overextends us. I remember those days when I was driving my kids from Quran class, to karate class, to hockey, to soccer, to madrasa, to school. So I was carrying snacks in the car. They were eating in the car. I was sitting in the car waiting an hour with a baby. No one was happy. Everyone was sleep deprived. Everyone was nasty. Those were supposed to be fun classes we paid so much money for, whether it was swimming and whatnot. Let's tone it down a little. Doesn't have to be all in one go. Pressured, over smart, maturing too fast because they are seeing so much stuff they shouldn't be seeing. Their bodies are reacting too early. They're also learning concepts too fast about what is bipolar and what is, like, it's happening too fast for them. These are the days for them to be innocent, where they don't even know that such kind of anomalies exist in the world. But then the schools are working against us. And they're teaching them stuff we don't want them to learn yet. And we can't shelter them, and then they're shocked. Also, the child of today speaks their mind. We came from a time where a child is seen, not heard. They are in a school system where a child who doesn't raise their hand or ask questions or argue is not rewarded. Your child is too quiet, doesn't challenge. Hello, at home we're told don't challenge. At school you're said you better challenge, otherwise you're not thinking outside the box. So, bichara, they're suffering. And then they come home to a mom who's saying, I need this decontaminated. You got to spray it 3 times. And do not sit on that bed once we've made it in the morning. Don't put this pillow out of whack. Your shoes today were not in their place. You are grounded. So the one thing that they were looking forward to, that one thing that was going to take all that pressure off, took that away as well. Then there's that resentment, that hatred. You don't love me. No, I did this because I loved you. No, but it makes me feel hated. So I have 1 minute. And I think, inshallah, we are going to, if we continue this, today was my last workshop. If we do it tomorrow and day after, we could continue on this, because we are all from families and we all need a lot of work and have a lot of tips. And this is a long workshop that I have. So we could do it tomorrow and day after if you all can let the admin know. Or we could go into the 13th and 14th of Muharram, which usually we're too tired and then we might skip. We don't want to skip. And watching it from home, as you know, never does the trick. Being here makes us pay attention. Also, we're sitting beside a friend that we're like, yeah, right? So you need that. You need that. Please do let me know, and I'm happy to do it because I'm here and I want to use my time to be of service. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to at least understand what we're dealing with, right? Overblessed, overloved, apologized to, bowed to, given 100 chances, holds the keys to all the treasures. The children are really ruling the roost, which is okay. We love you. And we came to this country and did all this to give you a better life. But that didn't mean that you can not follow Islam, not follow our rules, not be respectful, not be appreciative, not be kind. You can have it all. It's all for you. But you have to help us help you. And parents, inshallah, we're going to talk about how we can be better people. And the kids, I hope you're going to come like you did today, so you can understand what your parents are trying to do. And inshallah, we will meet in the middle. Ilahi Ameen. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli.